Well, guys, welcome back to the Collector Zone. I'm Jeff Dickinson, and today we're taking another look at this, ultimate video game image I did for the Retropie. If you saw my video earlier, my first one I did for this, I just kind of went through it. Today, I want to highlight some of the games, and I want to show you a little bit more about the system. Now, as you can see right here, under all games, I got over 7,584 games. I'm not trying to go for a top level amount of games that have the most for the image. These are games that, I've loved in the collection. There's some that I've never played before and I want to experience. A lot of these are console games and literally over, 2,199, so 2,200 arcade games that I really like. I'm glad to have this in the build. But most importantly to remember, this is something I wanted to do for myself. These are, systems that are important to me, especially, growing up in the age of video games, when they first started at the birth of the arcade and the consoles. And so, a lot of these systems here, I either, played as a kid. Some of these systems, when I was working for like Dillard's, I sold these systems and I experienced them. And like the ColecoVision here, which I have 117 games, that was my very first console gaming system that I saved up for. And it's near and dear to my heart. Of course, there's some games here that, systems that I've never had before. Like I never had the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Color is another one I never had. And I was, a big, Nintendo guy and, PlayStation guy outside of the, ColecoVision, that I never got an opportunity to play a lot of the Sega stuff until I started getting more into the last few years. I've had people who did play Sega and I did play games in the past, especially in the arcades. Like the Neo Geo right here, played a lot of Neo Geo in the arcades. But when it comes down to these consoles and this build I wanted to get done, is because I wanted to have an ultimate collection that I would enjoy personally. Now, we could, always start with the PlayStation here, because that was the system that I got next. It was the system I got after my Nintendo days. Now, as you can see, I want to go over a lot of these games here. That way you can see a little bit of the gameplay. Now, I'll put a list below of all the game systems I have and the games. That would give you an idea. But, of course, this doesn't have all the PlayStation games that I like to have or owned. Crash Bandicoot I owned. And, of course, making this build here, I want to have PlayStation games that, I would play a lot, I used to have, and pretty much enjoy. Now, I did get the updated Crash version for the PS4. That's pretty cool. But there's something about the old school games, the unremastered ones, that kind of, especially when you play it back in the days. Now, if you notice from this build here, on the bottom left-hand side, it tells you, the release date, how many players it is, developer. Of course, it has the ratings, what kind of game it is, and of course the publisher, which is kind of cool. Now, I used to have a vast collection of video games, but unfortunately, I lost a lot of my collection when I lost my storage unit. So, starting to rebuild again, I started doing this massive database of video game ROMs. That way, for any reason whatsoever, I go back and have those games to play however I want to play it. Which is why I like the, Raspberry Pi. allows me to build these little gaming systems, and I enjoy doing that. This is a fun game. I used to play this a lot when I had it. Trying to find some of these games is pretty tough because of the fact that, you know, people are charging crazy money. And I don't have that kind of money to be throwing around, especially when it comes to, you know, games I enjoy playing. So I'm building my collection back up. That's something I'm happy to have is the ROMs to play on, especially on the Raspberry Pi. Now, you will notice that some of the audio is not there for the videos. And when there's no video, I have some box art in its place. Now, about 1% of all these games I have, of all 7,000 plus, will not have videos or box art because of the fact that they're homebrew games or they're modified games. So when people modify games and then create their own for the homebrew, the scraper system that I have going here, which is SkyScraper, doesn't recognize it in the system, so I can't get box art. I can't get anything for it. So keeping in mind, the majority of that is going to be in the Sega system section, the Genesis primarily. For the pure fact that, you know, those are just out of the ordinary blends. I had to get my Resident Evil going for my PlayStation and Silent Hill. If you haven't played it, it's a really cool horror game. Now, what inspired this build was I was concentrating on my PlayStation games that I want to have in a collection. And Skull Monkeys is one of them. This game is a trip if you haven't played it. But yeah, man, it's a really cool game. I used to have it, but trying to buy it these days, people are just lost their minds when it comes to eBay and the aftermarket crowd. And unfortunately, when people start demanding more money for their video games, and we got people trying, you know, who want to own it and paying that price tag, it's kind of hard to go back to what they're truly worth. Because a lot of these games are common games. I got the Star Wars Dark Forces when I got my PS4. I got the Battlefront PlayStation. Came with a whole bunch of old school Star Wars games. Gotta love Tecmo. Now, I was always into fighting games. Mortal Kombat was the one that started for me getting into it. But Tekken, I love that game. And of course, the variations of my old school classic arcade games, like Tempest X3. It's fun to play a new version of an old school classic. So as you notice, I have video for all these PlayStation games. Let me come out of here. Now I'll put a link below to the games, well, to the first video I did for this image here. That way if you want to check it out. I talk a little bit more about the build. Today I'm not doing that. I'm talking more about the games. Afterburner. I love this game. I'm not good at it, but I sure love playing it. Now, what's the thing about these ROMs? These are ROMs that I was using from the past, and there is one or two that has some audio problems still that I haven't found a replacement ROM for. But outside from that, all these ROMs work just perfectly. I never had a Sega 32X build, so playing them on this Pi is really cool. It was kind of expensive. I went from, you know, the ColecoVision to the adapter to play Atari, add to the ColecoVision, and then from there, Nintendo, the NES original. Then the SNES came out after that, and I got that. But then at that point, the PlayStation came out, and I think the N64 and Sega were my choices for the next version. And so I went for the PlayStation. I know a lot of you guys probably played these games, and a lot of you guys probably have them in your collection, but unfortunately, I lost my collection before the boom, and trying to get back in a place in life to replenish my collection has been tough since, you know, the last few years. So it's really a treat to get ROMs that are working and have in a collection to play whenever I feel like. Now this Star Trek Starfleet Academy, I played the PC version of it. It had William Shatner and a few other guys reprising their role. It had video clips, but I never played this version. Looking forward to it. Of course, I love this game. I remember the Star Wars arcades, Sega game system in the arcades, and I love playing it, so playing this is pretty cool. A little bit different than the arcade version, but still cool to play. Now, if you guys are interested in Sega and Atari, just not too long ago, Sega did a release on the PS4, I think for the Xbox too. They had called Sega's Greatest Hits. Pretty cool stuff there. And the Atari had the 50th anniversary edition. That was really cool. Let's take a look at Sega CD. I wish I was good at these flying games. But when it came to like Star Wars, the Vectrex version of it back in, you know, Atari did, I was really good at those. The arcade Star Wars, I was really good at, but maybe because I love Star Wars so much. Big Batman fan, so I love all those games. Now, I do have some sports games that's on here. I just like football and baseball and boxing and all that, but not so much for the soccer or college football. This is Cliffhanger, which is based upon the Sylvester Stallone movie. This is a trip if you have a chance to play it. It's really cool. Now, if you saw my past videos on my channel, I did get the Mini, so that was pretty cool. They had a lot of Sega CD games on there.
I'm not quite sure that you're able to appreciate our skills.
This would be interesting to play. I've never played this before.
You notice, all the Fremen we meet have blue eyes. Totally blue. No whites in them. It's linked to saturation of the blood with spice.
Huh. I love fighting games, so a majority of these games that I have are fighting games, shooting games. Now, here's what I was talking about. So I couldn't get a video of this, so the box art went in its substitution. So if there's no video, then you'll get box art. This game's a trip. It's on the Mini too, Sega. But yeah, weird game, man. Yeah, I'm really interested in checking out a lot of these games that came out for the Sega CD. Wow, that's Soundgarden. I forgot they were part of the soundtrack. I like shooters too. Love shooters. Now these point clicks, I know the Secret of Monkey Island is really big for a lot of you guys, but I don't know. Needs some getting used to. This is a cool game.
Mr. Seed?
Gillian's fine, and you can call me Gillian, Mika.
Okay, Gillian. I'll open the main door and show you around headquarters.
Gotta check that one out. And of course, gotta have Sonic if you're playing some Sega. Now, I played Rebel Assault on the PlayStation. I still got it. But I've never played this version, so I'll check it out, see what it's like. The PlayStation version has video cuts, so it'll be interesting to see the difference. Oh, it's like a Dragon's Lair. Gotta do that timing thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing a lot of these games. Wing Commander, I have Wing Commander 4 for the PlayStation. I love that game. But once again, cutscenes. We're gonna see how that goes. Alright. Got a few here. Let me go over here. I like to highlight the Vectrex. My buddy John from the Geek and I Podcast with John and Jeff. Check our show out. The links are below if you want to check that out. He has a Vectrex, and we actually went out and tried to get it fixed because it's not working. There's a video on my channel if you want to check that as well. But he's one of the lucky ones. I can't afford to get this. These days, you'll be lucky to find them. Good working one for about $1,000 with some games, but man, complete in the box, crazy money. Now, this is one of the systems I was playing at Dillard's when I used to work there. So I was fortunate enough to play some of these systems, but of course I couldn't afford to get them all. This was the time right at the end of the arcade, well, the video game boom. And Nintendo brought us out of that. Yeah, if you were there with like me at the beginning, this was towards the end of the video game life, and thanks to Atari, they were putting out almost anything and everything. But I'm lucky to, I don't have an actual Vectrex, but I'm lucky to play these games. Now, for a lot of you guys who played this before, you're probably familiar with all these games. And my buddy John's enjoying this video. Oh man, this is one of my favorite arcade games. And this is what attracted me to Vectrex originally. When we were selling it, they had this for you to play. They had this one, I remember, and the Star Trek one, which is this one right here. They didn't have all the games for you to check out. Those were the main ones I remember them having. Alright. So what I want to do here is... there's a lot of Atari games. Let's highlight a few of those. Because this is what started it all, man. What got me into Atari was hanging out at Sears, playing Air-Sea Battle. They had like a whole bunch of games in one cartridge, I believe. And of course, they were putting out their arcade versions of these games, like Asteroids and Space Invaders and Pac-Man and all that. By the way, I love this game. I did play a lot of it. My neighbor had the Atari. Let's see here. Scroll through here. Battle Zone. That's a lot different than the arcades, but they made their version of it. There's Berserk. And this is not a bad port. It's just, you know, it was the times, man. There was a point in time where this was the best they could do. Yeah. Let's see here. Breakout. Now, I love this game. Breakout was a game that was made by Steve Jobs. Wozniak worked for Jobs, and Jobs got a job at Atari. Little fun fact if you guys didn't know that. Bugs Bunny. Or the best they could do. I think it's Elmer Fudd on top. But yeah, man, there's a lot of, you know, different games here. Here's the Centipede. Scroll through here. Here's the Fender. So yeah, what I normally did was when ColecoVision made their adaptation portal to attach to the ColecoVision, I was able to start getting a lot of these cartridges by Atari for my friends for cheap because they got tired of the games. So, oh man, I don't know how this Dukes of Hazzard, but there's the famous E.T. I swear to you guys, I try to play it. Either I'm not good or don't understand it, but I can't play it. I gave it a good shot, but that was about it. Let's see here. Here's Galaxian. Yeah. So like I said, guys, if you want to check out the Atari 50th, it has over 90 games. They had some reimagined games. Vector Sector is another one. I did a video if you want to check out my channel. But yeah, man, I mean, it's a whole different era and time. All right, let's see here. I want to hop into here. Now, once again, the Lynx, there's a box art. Couldn't have a video. But the SkyScraper is the best scraper for there if you're building your own image. Once again, this is another system that I sold at Dillard's. There was a game called California Games that was always in there. I don't remember playing any other game but that one. This is kind of like a Tetris. Of course, they had the Game Boy there too, so that was I got a chance to play those video game systems, the handhelds. Yeah, there's California games. I remember playing the surfing a lot and these roller skating. I think it was roller skating or skateboarding. Yeah. Centipede doesn't look promising on this one. I'd be interested to see what all these games are about. Probably not the soccer stuff because I'm not a fan. Now, the one thing that's not on this build is Jaguar. There's a problem using emulation for Jaguar for some reason, but the Atari 50 had it on there. I couldn't get video clips for these. Yeah, so the Atari 50, you can play the Jaguar games. That was kind of cool to play a gaming system I never played before. Good old Joust. Now this one, this is video, but all it shows is these words here. For some reason, it didn't have actual video. But because there's video, they didn't put a box art on there. I guess I could go back in there and try alter it, but I spent a total of 15 days building this image up, scraping it, finding information, redoing it, working out all the bugs. But I was doing it in my spare time. So all I was doing was playing with this image. And then, of course, my normal job. But yeah, it takes a lot of dedication to do an image from scratch. But it was fun for me. I enjoyed it. Last time I did an image build like this was back in 2017. 2017, you know, it was a lot different, and it didn't have, I didn't know about the scraping or anything like that. I was just putting ROMs on it. Road Blaster's always a fun game to play. I love Robotron, but I have to play the arcade version. Yeah, this came out pretty good, man. I'm really digging the image. I'm enjoying, you know, having all these games now under one image. And of course, you know, I have to have my arcade games. And what was different about this arcade build was that I was looking for marquees and video. So it's kind of cool I got all that. Let's scroll down here. There we go. The majority of the marquees I have are, you know, dedicated to the game, but you see behind it, it says arcade. That was this basic look before I got the marquees installed. So there's some that, you know, has that. See it? Like this one. And I can't figure out how to fix that. Let's come down here a little bit more. There. Dessert. Now see, compared to the home ports, it looked pretty decent. I always like the way that sounds. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I got almost 2,200 of these arcade games. They all work just fine. The only thing about the arcade games and having them on a Pi versus how I play them currently is because I like the arcade joysticks. I did an unboxing on my past videos, and you can look for it on my channel, of the it's at Games Legends Gamer Mini and Pro. The Mini I got originally first, and then the Pro I got after I found one for my brother. I gave him and my nephew one that had a whole bunch of cool games on there. And once again, it's kind of like the Pi. You could add games, you know, as many games as you want. And that's something that I play a lot of different, you know, arcade games on. The majority of the ones I enjoy the most, I have to play through the at games because of the joysticks. Like Robotron has two. A lot of your fighting games, you know, it's better with a joystick. The what I'm using currently for the Pi build is a PS3 USB controller. I love my Galaga. Yeah, a lot of times, you know, I can play some of these shooter games with my controller. Galapagos. Oh man, you gotta play this game. It's really, if you like Galaga, this is like the last version of Galaga. Let's see here. What am I gonna do here? Oh, so on the Pi build, you could always jump to whatever game, you know, like if you're looking for, like for example, Star Wars, I'll hit the T, and I can go up looking for Star Wars this way because it's on towards the bottom. I didn't pass it. Starcat. Oh man, once again, this is the arcade version of the game I enjoyed, and when I saw it on the Vectrex, that caught my attention. I got Star Trek. Really cool game. There's Star Wars. Let's go and check it out. It takes a moment to load up. But yeah, I mean, I use a trackball to use it to aim and shoot. Yeah, it pops up when you telling you the controller is connected.
The boss will be with me.
Put some quarters in there.
Red bar standing by.
And I'm using my joystick here to move it. It's kind of, you know. It's not 100%. Oh, see, I can't even shoot. TIE Fighter, I wanted to. There you go. Ah. See, with the trackball, I'm able to fix the sensitivities on it. That's why I like playing it on the at games. Now, of course, Arcade 1-Up came out with theirs, and that Yoken is really cool. I just can't see myself spending $500 on Star Wars, as much as I love to. Well, guys, I want to thank you for your time hanging out at the Collector Zone, checking out the videos. Big shout out to my new subscribers. You guys, I appreciate you coming aboard, checking out the videos, and hitting those like buttons. But most importantly, so you OGs, man, I appreciate you the most. Thanks for hanging out with the Collector Zone from the very beginning. It means a lot to me. There you go. Well, I'm going to hang out and play some Star Wars. Thanks for the hang time, and as usual, we'll catch you on the next one. Game on, my fellow gamers. I'm going to try to kick some Stormtrooper ass.